This is Garden of English. I'm Tim Freitas, and today I'm going to go over some changes to the rhetorical analysis thesis just in time for your exam. So you'll want to check out my new suggestions. All right, at the beginning of this video, what I want to do is I want to start this video the same way I always do, and that is thanking our Patreon supporters who you can actually see listed out right over here. I am grateful for all that they are indeed offering to the Garden of English and their support over the year. If you're interested in supporting the Garden of English in any way, you can actually check out what Patreon benefits there are by looking at this video right up here. So anyway, thank you so much to those individuals that have chosen to support the Garden of English in that way. And I look forward to trying to offer you even more things in the future. But also, as we continue this video, I also want to give a huge shout out to Parlay because they are indeed sponsoring this video. And this right here is a picture of Parlay, and I want to just remind you all that as exam time is coming up, if you were to go to universe.parlayideas.com, you can actually see that right up here in my browser, right? It would come up to the Parlay Universe. These are things that you can use in your classroom. And if you were to type in the Garden of English, okay, in here, you will notice that there are collections, and we have actually released 8 units worth of collections here. There are 3 lessons per unit where we look at the skills of the unit and we create these online review modules here that can be done online, and they are interactive. They can be just discussion questions for you. They can also have peer feedback options, and there are typically bonus activities as well that tie in with the exam, and they all match with the course and exam description. So please note that we have created these here for Parlay, and we encourage you to check them out. Now, with that being said, let's get right into what we're doing here for today, and that is talking about the rhetorical analysis thesis statement. So you've probably seen my videos in the past about the rhetorical analysis thesis statement. If you have not, you can actually access that up here. Okay. And the thesis statement there is still good. That's going to be the first template that I'm going to talk about here. But I'd also like to point out that a few weeks ago I did a video with my friend Jim Jordan, and we talked about this idea of do you have to list choices in your thesis? But when we did, he and I actually worked together to kind of bring up, what's another way that could actually make the thesis incredibly sophisticated. And we did that. And if you're interested in that video, that too is up here. Where we talk about that. But the reason why I'm making this video is because I took the conversation that I had with Jim, and what I did was I actually morphed it a little bit to produce another thesis template for you all, so that you actually have a choice. And now we've got 2 thesis statements that are actually really strong that can lead to sophistication and sophisticated writing. But you'll notice that one of them happens to be a little stronger than the other. Quite frankly, to me, both of these thesis statements are excellent, but I want you to actually consider trying on the new one for size, because if it fits well for what you like to do, there is a chance that it is indeed a bit more sophisticated, and I will talk about why. So what do these templates look like? Well, the first thesis template is the one that I've been giving out for eons. Like I said, they're in the videos up in the corner. And that is, in the genre title, give me some context about the author or text. Give me the author's name, choice 1, choice 2, choice 3. In order to, what is the audience supposed to understand? And then ultimately moving, give me the audience to, and then what are they supposed to do? Now this right here, like I said, I've gone over this a million times, and this actually is a variation of the thesis in one of my thesis videos, right? But I'm going to use the post 9/11 speech to show you how we can actually take this thesis here, which is good, okay? It'll totally help you organize the line of reasoning for a strong essay. How can we take this thesis and actually put it in this kind of new format that I'd also like to talk about today? But anyway, let's look at this example here. It says, in his post 9/11 speech, an address that recounts the state of the nation after the deadly terrorist attacks, former President George W. Bush varies his pronouns, subtly shifts his tone, and repeats patriotic images in order to highlight that although all are experiencing tragic grief, and the country is and will remain strong, ultimately moving the divided American public to unite and prepare for retaliatory action. So this right here, nothing new. You've seen my videos before, and this is the thesis statement, and this guides the whole paper. I'm going to write through these particular choices in a time setting, and I'm going to link it to the purpose that's listed here. No problem. Now, how can we actually update this into another thesis type where we're going to actually turn our thesis into 2 sentences okay, and add a couple moments of sophistication. So let's look at template 2 here. And like I said, this comes from that conversation that I had with Jim where he talked about, engaging with challenges and making more purposeful choices. And I said, how can we get that into a template here that we can highlight moments that are a little bit more sophisticated? And that helps get us this idea of a greater knowledge of a broader context, which could help us towards earning the sophistication point. This thesis will not earn you the sophistication point, but it can help towards that because it makes you be more critical and opens you up to actually looking into the greater context more as you prepare to write about your piece. So therefore, it most likely will show up in your piece a little bit more. Okay? So anyway, we have here template 2. You're going to notice that sentence 1, here's what you want to do. You want to situate the speaker in the midst of the exigence. You want to mention the audience, and you want to identify the challenges the speaker faces at the current time. And this right here is the part that adds a bit of sophistication. Right here, identifying the challenge that the speaker is addressing. And like I said, Jim Jordan is the one who brought this up with me, and he had a friend who brought it up with him who's referenced in the video that we did together. Okay? But now, for sentence number 2, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say in, and then we're going to put the title of the address there. And this next part is we're going to offset with dashes, okay, the next moment that's going to help increase our sophistication. Because we're going to say rather than insert reasonable other response the speaker could have taken in the midst of this exigence. And then we'll say he or she chose to, and then we're going to say what the speaker wants the audience to understand by, and then we're going to articulate our rhetorical choices. And we're going to say, and all of this was done to ultimately move the audience to, and then what's the audience supposed to do? So we've got this surefire thesis. I mean, this thing is, I've been using it for years. My kids have been doing extremely well on the exam for years, scoring very high on the rhetorical analysis. So we know that this is good. But compare what I read in this kind of linear thesis structure to one that now has those kind of more sophisticated moves. And let's see if we have something that is a bit better. This is kind of like Honda and Toyota. They're both excellent cars. They're the best that you can get on the road. But one of them might actually have a little bit more staying power. That's the Toyota, by the way. And by the way, I do own a Honda and a Toyota. I do prefer my Toyota. But I like them both. But let's watch this. We're going to take this thesis here, and now we're going to turn it into this one here. And let's see if we have a little bit more pizzazz here. And I think you'll realize the answer is actually yes. So we have, following this exact structure right up top, as the country was reeling from the terrorist attacks of 9/11, President George W. Bush faced the grave challenge of uniting the devastated and politically divided American public. In what is now famously known as his post-9/11 speech, rather than calling for patience or peace, he chose to remind the American people of their unified strength in the midst of their tragic grief by varying his pronouns, subtly shifting his tone, and repeating patriotic images. And all of this was done to ultimately prepare the nation to take retaliatory action in a quest for justice. Now, you'll notice that I used almost all of the same information from up top here, right? Where we talk about the tragic grief, we talk about the country remaining strong, we talk about the public uniting for retaliatory action. Notice, we've got this here, unified strength. There's the unity, they're strong, but they're also grieving, and they're going to retaliate in a quest for justice. All of the information is here, but this is done with a much richer pattern, particularly because of these 2 moments here that I've highlighted in yellow. So that right there is our update to the thesis statement. I encourage that you try that on for size. Now, some of you might just be used to this, and it's a good fallback, and it is strong, like I said. But I want to just ask you to consider, hey, maybe I should try, writing thesis statements in both ways and see which one actually fits better for what I'm trying to do. And I think that you'll have some good success no matter which one you use. But this one right here, I would love to read that as an AP reader. And next year, I can't wait to actually give my students both options at the beginning of the year so that we can actually look into that. I'm super grateful for Jim Jordan's help with that. you know, in our discussion a few weeks ago, it actually moved me to kind of reconsider how I've been doing something for many, many years to hopefully actually make it better. So if this video is helpful, the easiest thing you can do for me is to just press like and subscribe. That's actually the best way to support the Garden of English, you know, and it's the easiest way to support the Garden of English, okay? We do have affiliate links down below, and I encourage you to actually check those out. They're affiliate links for different teaching, you know, guides and modules. Parlay is actually linked right down below as well. I'd also like to point out that up in the corner, we actually might be able to provide a link for some t-shirts that we have Garden of English merch. We've got Garden of English stickers. We've got Garden of English posters. We've got Garden of English t-shirts. You should check those out as well. On top of that, though, we are active on Facebook and on Instagram, so go over and like us there and follow us there, and you can keep up with what we're releasing and when we are releasing it. The Garden of English actually also just became a official business, and because of that, I've got a couple really exciting things I want to announce that will probably come out early June. So, you know, stay tuned for that as well. So I'm grateful that you decided to tune in. These videos are always free, so if you don't want to do anything to support us besides just watch the video, that's fine too. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great one.